All right. I'm really excited to be here with you guys today. It's episode 2, Behind the Drink, learning the stories behind the drinks that inspire us all. The drinks that I've designed. Yes, those drinks. Oh, yeah. All right, here we go. So this is a drink. I'm not a huge fan of how it was named, but this is what happens when you design drinks for the general public, for your clients, brides and grooms. You say, all right, here's your drink. What is it going to be? And they get to decide. So this drink is called Slingin In The Rain. And the name came from when I designed it for the bride. I kind of was inspired by like a Singapore sling, like a sling style drink. And she's like, okay. And so the groom had a drink as well. And so they decided to name their drinks after their favorite movies. So their last name was Gigax, and so the fiance's drink was called "So I Married a Gigax Murderer," and her favorite movie was Singin' in the Rain, so it became Slingin' in the Rain, and so there you go, Slingin' in the Rain. This drink was really fun to make. This couple was really fun to work with. For some reason, a shout out to Jesse and Becca of Modern Vintage. It seems like their clients are always the ones that I get to do the weirdest stuff for. I've done some really unusual stuff. And what was really great about this couple was that they were really big into travel. I think they'd met while traveling. They'd done a lot of traveling, and so it was the first time ever where we were doing a pan-Asian cuisine for the reception. Reason being is here in Nashville, you can imagine we do a lot of barbecue, a lot of pulled pork and macaroni and cheese and collard greens and that kind of stuff. And so because they traveled so much, they wanted to have this kind of unique, different spin on their food. So they had this pan-Asian cuisine, and I'm like, that's excellent because I like to think about what food we're pairing with. It doesn't make sense to be doing something like an old fashioned with salad, or like a French 75 with a bunch of heavy steak. You want to be complementing what you're serving, making it a overall enjoyable, comprehensive, complete experience for the guests and for the host. So I got to play with the flavors that I couldn't do otherwise. So it was really fun. So this was our first foray that I can recall into compound syrups. So theory-wise, I'm never really into infusions. I've only done it once. It was my first foray into cocktail design ever was infusions, which we'll probably share in a later episode. Infusing spirits is just kind of silly. Like it's like the Mitch Hedberg joke, like when somebody gives you a gift card, they give you money that was good anywhere and makes it only good in one place, And so if you infuse, say, habaneros and vodka, or strawberries and tequila, you have strawberry tequila, but then that's all you have is strawberry. You can't have tequila. You can't have that tequila and anything else where strawberry wouldn't make any sense. So I'm a big fan of making tinctures or syrups. You can have your own personal flavor, and you can have that as a separate component. So you can add it to the spirit that you want and not add it when you don't want it. So compound syrups are when you want to have several flavors but in one sweet little package. So think about it this way. If you had, in this case, you probably already looked at the podcast. There's lemongrass, there's pear, there's sugar. It doesn't make sense to have a lemongrass syrup and a pear syrup. You're going to make the drink much more longer and unnecessarily sweet and diluted. So if you can actually put them together, then you're going to have an awesome ingredient that's going to take way less steps. So we have this drink. It was meant to pair with Japanese food and Chinese food. So I wanted to use gin as my first ingredient. Aromatic light is a summertime outdoor or semi-outdoor wedding, so it made sense. So gin, and then you'll notice if you look at some of my drinks, I always love to have some kind of wine component to any of my drinks. Adding a fortified wine and aromatized wine like sherry, vermouth, port, Madeira. These will kind of instantly make your drink more complex or more interesting. This less like, oh, what am I getting? There's some little ingredient there that makes it more dynamic. So instead of using a wine component, I use something that was almost wine. I use sake, which completely makes sense in this kind of setting. So sake for acidity, lime juice. Lime juice is not as bright, not as loud as a lemon, so it really complements everything else. It's a little more of a supportive ingredient. And then that compound syrup. So I took here in Nashville, there's an awesome tea shop called High Garden, and pretty much any kind of ingredient I want, dried rose petals, smoked souchong tea, whatever, uh, goat nettles. There's they have that there. So I got lemongrass in bulk. I mean, to make all the lemongrass syrup I needed for the entire thing, I think I needed like 2 ounces. It's a very powerful, loud ingredient. So you get lemongrass and pear nectar and sugar. Boil that together. Look, check out the notes to look at the ratio of those three things. Boil it together. Let the lemongrass steep like a tea, and kind of let it steep to taste. I like it pretty loud. And then that's your syrup. And then so we got our gin, our lime, our sake, the syrup. For extra aromatic kind of just more on the nose, a few dashes of orange flower water. I love orange flower water. It's a great ingredient. 'Cause it's a common ingredient in tiki drinks. Because in fact, if you ever had orgeat, orange flower water is part of the mix. It just adds a light aromatic component that nothing really compares to. Slightly tropical, slightly just very gentle, easy breezy. And so we got that. Then going back to that kind of Singapore sling kind of thought about Southeast Asian cuisine and flavor. Coconut is delicious. I didn't want to add a coconut cream or something that was going to add to the sweetness. I wanted to just add a hint of it. So I used Coconut Lacroix as my elongating ingredient. When you add a club soda or champagne, you're going to make the drink longer that way. And then top it off with a blackberry as a garnish. Blackberry pairs very well with lemongrass, with coconut. It all just kind of ties together. So it's really fun to take one ingredient and research, like, hey, what does this pair with? And look at books, look at websites, and go, coconut, lemongrass, sake, it all kind of ties together. So you have this very kind of attuned to itself kind of profile thing, all these different components that kind of complement each other. Coconut, blackberry, LaCroix, coconut, blackberry, lime, lemongrass, and it made for this really kind of fun, light and easygoing, but also a little surprising and challenging. Like, oh, lime and sake and lemongrass and pear, huh? Okay. So it went off like gangbusters. It was a lot of fun to serve. Now you're probably wondering, well, geez, Josh, like if you're having like 200 people, drinking this 8 ingredient drink, how the crap do you do that? When you have a line 80 people long, all night. And so what I would do for my bartenders was I would actually, for you at home, if you want to make this at home, it doesn't matter because you can have it all separate. But in my case, we take it very seriously. We want to make sure that the line goes fast, that people aren't going there to wait in line for a drink. They're there to celebrate the bride and groom. And so we would batch everything that wasn't alcoholic. So the lime, the orange flower water, and the lemongrass syrup was all one mix. And so we just had to add just the gin, sake, the mix, top with the LaCroix, and we were good to go. So we definitely don't want people waiting in line. So that's something we're always thinking about, is how to make it approachable, but also how to make it creative and fast. That's a big thing. So that is Slingin In The Rain. Check out the notes in the blog for the complete recipe, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. All right, don't forget though, if you have a friend that could benefit from these blogs, please tell them to sign up on our email list, and if you haven't already, do so yourself. We love you. We hope you're having a great summertime, and the living is easy and full of gin, and it's delicious. And yeah, don't forget, if it's worth celebrating, celebrate well.